What's up, guys? Manic.mercurian here for another tier video, kind of a silly video. This video really needs no explanation. We're ranking the signs in alphabetical order, nicest to meanest, and I want to do my best to kind of rapid fire these. I don't want to spend too much time going into the nuance of explaining what's going on with these. Let's just get through it, and I'm going to go in alphabetical order because it's just a weird kind of funky order. All right, so let's start with Aquarius. Aquarius is going to be, I would say they have the potential for being very rude. Obviously, these are all going to be stereotypes. There are always exceptions. But generally speaking, Aquarius is one of the signs that values honesty. And I think the trade-off there is that they may be lacking in diplomacy. They may, say things that are not always, the most diplomatic things to say. The same goes for Aries as well, for that matter. We're starting off kind of rough. I do want to mention, though, that I really don't view this as a negative thing. The signs that are like more rude, so to speak, will also be more honest and direct. So there's always a trade-off there with any trait, with anything we're talking about in astrology. There's a trade-off. But if you want someone to just shoot it from the hip, give it to you like it is, maybe kind of hurt your feelings, that you're going to get that with Aquarius and with Aries, for that matter. Aries is probably the most direct, unfiltered sign. So, of course, there are pros and cons to that, but on a scale of rude to nice, I'd say Aries is rude. Next is Cancer. Cancer is more difficult for me to rank. I just realized this bar is out of place. Sorry about that. Cancer is very emotional. I do think they're not going to be as rude as Aquarius or Aries for sure, because Cancer is very emotional. They may or may not be sensitive to other people's emotions or aware of other people's emotions. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. Oh gosh, I might have to just put them in average. I think being so focused on their own emotion, that could come to the deficit of other people's emotions. But then at the same time, a self-aware Cancer is going to be very aware of the emotions of both themselves and other people. So yeah, it all comes down to the emotion with Cancer. I hate to say it, but I think it's true. Next is Capricorn. I'm going to put Capricorn in the impolite category. I don't think they're so just blatantly direct and transparent that they are as rude as maybe Aquarius or Aries, but I do think Capricorn is one of the more direct signs. I think the difference, though, is that Capricorn is an earth sign. It tends to be a little bit private and kind of keep its opinions to itself to some degree, so that will save it from some rudeness. But Capricorn can be very cold and direct for sure, and very kind of blatantly disrespectful. The other thing, though, too, is that Capricorn is very mindful of societal expectations and social norms on that level. So they may be very mindful and respectful in certain situations in that way as well. So I do think I'm pretty confident of my ranking for Capricorn right there. Okay, next is Gemini. Gemini is also harder to rank because Gemini is kind of all over the place. They can be very adaptable and go with the flow, and so I could see them very much conforming and being polite in that sense, but they can also be silly, snarky. They can make fun of people a lot. So when you put it that way, literally right now, it's kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of making fun of people. Yeah, and I think Gemini can be, I wouldn't put them in the rude as fuck category, but I'm kind of debating either average or impolite. I've also met, especially older Geminis, I've met some very, very sweet older Geminis, many of them. But especially early in life, I think they can be a little bit, what's the word, not respectful, kind of, not in a blatantly I'm against you type of a way, but more of just a silly, snarky, making jokes and things like that. So I guess I'll put them in the impolite category. We really haven't had any nicer polite signs. Maybe I'll have to bump Cancer up to polite. Cancer can be very nurturing. Am I allowed to renege on my rankings? I don't know. Next is Leo. So gosh, I would say impolite. I would almost put them in the rude as fuck category. Leo can be very brash and kind of self-centered and not considerate of other people's feelings. They can also be very direct and just, this is how it is, and not even, they can kind of lack tact they can be tactless in that regard. But I do think Leo is a little bit more sunshiny and, wants everyone to be in a good mood. I don't know. I think Leo can be a little bit more fake than Aries or Aquarius. Or maybe that's kind of a bad way to put it. They can be more, I don't want to say diplomatic necessarily. Maybe I should put them, I don't know. I just feel like Leo can be really sunshiny and like positive, and that would make them nicer. Let's do Libra. Libra is, I would say, the nicest sign. This is actually something I've noticed working at like a call center where I've been able to see the caller's birthday. You can notice patterns like that. Libras are by far the nicest. Not only are they polite, but they're also usually like the most easygoing. Libra's going to be polite in that kind of customer service setting. I really think Libras are the nicest in general. Like, there are downsides, like for example, Libra can be fake. It's hard to tell how a Libra really feels, but that's the downside of being so polite and nice and generous in that kind of way. Libra's also pretty conversational, pretty chatty. I think that's part of being, really nice and kind of friendly. I would by far easily say Libra is the nicest sign. Next is Pisces. So, this is another difficult one for me. I think all the water signs are difficult to rank nicest to meanest. I would say Pisces is definitely one of the nicer signs for sure. Like, I'm debating. I don't think I would say so nice or nicest. I'm gonna say nicest for this, because it's my channel. I can do what I want. I can change it in the middle of the ranking. Pisces is a very generally warm and like generous sign. They can kind of click with people like from all walks of life, sort of. I mean, they can and they can't. But they can be kind of detached as well. And there's something just off, I don't know, about a lot of Pisces placements. I'm going to put them in the polite category. I do think they're one of the nicer signs to deal with on a universal level, but I don't know. I don't have to give my reasoning. I don't know. I'm gonna move on. Sagittarius. So, oh gosh, this is difficult too. I would say, well, I know Sagittarius has the reputation for being extremely direct, which, I mean, they kind of are and they kind of aren't. And I've known a lot of Sagittariuses, by the way, too. Definitely a lot of Sun in Sagittarius and other placements too. So, I mean, oh gosh. And of course I have my own bias. Maybe this is my own bias. I almost want to put them in the average category. I've actually met a lot of Sagittariuses that are a little bit shy. I don't feel like they're super blatantly honest. I almost feel like they're more polite than Gemini. Is that crazy to suggest? I don't know. Let me know. Do you think I'm crazy for saying that? Let me know what you think about that. I think Sagittarius can be very warm and flexible. I think they tend to be kind of nice, but there's a huge range with Sagittarius though. There can be asshole Sagittariuses, there can be super nice and shy and pleasant ones. It just kind of depends. Okay, next is Scorpio. This one's easy. So I guess when I said water signs, I guess Cancer and Pisces were difficult for me to rank, but Scorpio, that one's easy. Scorpio doesn't mind providing a cynical or negative opinion, even if it's against like what everyone else thinks. And that's the beauty of Scorpio. But also, I'm not here to judge. I am judging, but I'm also not. I'm not here to say whether it's good or bad. There's a plus and a minus side to everything. But yeah, on a scale of nice to mean, I would say Scorpio's mean, because again, they can be kind of cynical, negative, criticizing. They have kind of a dark energy, for better or for worse. So and they also aren't diplomatic. Like, this is another sign that cares more about like the raw truth rather than diplomacy and social harmony and things like that. So I've met some super nice Scorpios, but generally speaking, I'm gonna say rude as fuck. Okay, now we've just got Taurus and Virgo. Taurus, I'm going to put in the polite category. I think that's pretty easy. They're definitely not the nicest because they can be stubborn and they can be a little bit, I guess stubborn is a good way to put it. Like, they only see things one way and there's no room outside of that. So that can come across a little bit, stiff, rigid, even condescending. Generally speaking, though, I think Taurus is very pleasant. Like, they have that Venus rulership, so they they are very grounded, but they tend to be a slightly optimistic, maybe like a realist, but also kind of an optimist. They, I don't know. I think Taurus is generally pleasant. Let's just put it that way. And last is Virgo. So, and this one's difficult too. Like, I know Virgo can be very cynical, cold, critical. I get that. Virgos can also be very helpful though. Like, I think Virgo gets a bad rap because I think most of the signs, hear me out. Most of the signs, like, the reputation is based on what the loudest version of them is. That's my theory. And the loudest version of Virgo is not pretty. It is gonna be very critical and like aggressive. But most Virgos aren't like that. Most of them are very mild mannered, very polite. That's also something I've noticed working call center jobs. Kind of. Let's just put it that way. I would say Virgo is the most polite on the phone. They're not the nicest. They're not as nice as Libra, because they can be cold. They can be direct, and maybe not very expressive. So, but they are at least polite. Like, they'll say please and thank you and things like that. So, Virgo's an interesting one. I think they can be very nice. I think they can also be very rude. So I think that would kind of just level out. I think I'd put them in the average category. So that's what I got, I guess. I might bump Cancer up. Cancer can be like very nurturing, especially to people they don't know. Cancer really doesn't want to fight with people they don't know generally, unless it's to defend someone. Cancer is very loyal. So, considering I only had 3 signs above average, I'll bump Cancer up to polite. So that's my final spread. I guess I think most of the signs are rude apparently, but yeah, hope you had fun with that. I don't know what you're gonna do with that information, but thanks for watching. Have a great day.